Hello, everybody. I'm doing this entire space with this voice full of loads of plate reverb to set a feeling for this wonderful sci-fi adventure we're all about to go on. I thought I could have something else going here. Hang on, let's put something in. Here we go. Not that bad. Anyway, I'll continue speaking with my voice while I do this. That is totally incredibly brilliant, The Journey. Honestly, that is such a banger of a track. I know it's easy to kind of get lost in this in this space with so much great music around, but there's also quite a lot of shit music around. Let's be really honest. That, as a track, on its own, standalone, no problem. I could listen to that all day long. When that bit in the middle after the drop kicks in and that big, massive, big sine wave synth comes in and goes, and you're just like, whoa, I am just totally coming up now. Honestly, that is an insanely genius track. And we are so super proud to have this drop with Sarah Main tonight and to be able to talk to Sarah as well about it, because honestly, Sarah is she's one of the sweetest people I know, and yet at the same time, one of the most incredibly brilliant and talented people I know. She has worked insanely tirelessly to put this project together, which she's going to tell us all about tonight. And I'm just really super proud that, Sarah, you've chosen TokenTraxx to be the home for this, because it's a brilliant project, and we are going to absolutely smash it tonight. I'm pretty sure of that. Sarah, how are you feeling now? It's all like there.
But I know, like, this isn't like the end of the journey. This is actually almost the beginning, because I know how far it's come, but I know from the way it's evolved that it's going to evolve in so many different directions, and a lot of directions that I'm not even aware of yet. And for me, that's the exciting part about this whole project, that there are so many different avenues that this can go in, especially as I discover more like emerging technologies. So it's really nice though that it's actually getting out there into the universe. So I'm very happy, and I'm happy to also be doing this with you guys. Especially, I have to give a big shout out to Jess. She's just an absolute legend. Yay, Jess. Like I've learned so much from working with you guys, and Jess, she's just a wealth of knowledge, and of course you, Tommy, as well. Your team is brilliant, and you believe in all my crazy ideas. So like you were the one saying yes, and I've had so many people in my life saying no. So I'm going to go with the yes guy. So yeah, really.
Thank you so much.
Here. Yeah, thanks, Jess. You're an absolute legend, I have to say.
Thank you. It's so fun to work with someone who's an early adopter. So someone like Tommy and myself that are yes people, but we're like yes and how. So we find a way to shape it. And I think, just the way that you just took so many tools and processes and using your inherent creativity to shape it, the how, to get to this endpoint, which is this sort of anthology of things and assets surrounding this central character's journey that will introduce the two protagonists very soon. But yeah, it's just so fun to see pushing boundaries creatively, technically, within an already disruptive space. So it's been really fun, and thanks everyone for joining us and supporting DATA VAEDA on this journey.
Thanks, Jess. Thank you. And just to go back to the music, obviously that piece of music was the thing that really inspired, this whole project of where we're at now. And it's care of Jonathan, because it's funny how you said it was a genius piece of music. My nickname for Jonathan, which he doesn't like, is actually Genius. I'm not allowed to call him that anymore, but I'm going to say it on this space. And he's actually down there in the audience. If you maybe
let's get him up. Yeah, come up, Jonathan. Come up. We'd love to have you.
Explain some of the. Yeah, he can explain some of the techniques that he uses to create those beautiful textures. So we've been working together for about 15 years. We've done a few projects along the way, and I've always been a massive fan of his work. And yeah, so when I found Web3, I was just like, I need to bring Jonathan with me. So here we are. And I hope he's going to come up and speak about the track, because it is just, I could listen to it over and over again. It's so emotive, and it really was the driver that helped me create this whole sort of fantastical sort of like storyline and journey around the project.
And it does have this. Oh, sorry, I got a bit croaky there. It does have this really beautiful kind of science fiction-y sort of vibe about it, without it being sort of science fiction-y. You know, that is sort of sounding like some kind of weird 50s pheromone kind of thing. It's got this sort of, I think, it's got this kind of otherworldly feel to it, because it reminds me in some ways of like something that you might have been attached to, a science fiction movie from the past, but yet it sounds completely modern, but it's got that kind of, it evokes kind of mystery and sort of otherworldly sort of feeling. And I just think it sums up that, the essence of where the story is, which we're going to find out a lot more about through the course of this space. By the way, before we carry on, and Jonathan's brilliant, got you up, and we're going to come to you shortly. Please retweet this room, guys. This is a great space. Not only that, but let's get some more people who are interested in different types of concepts. There's a lot of down stuff about NFTs at the moment, and a lot of down stuff about projects in general. This is a truly brilliant project. It's a very, very, very innovative project on so many different levels. We're going to find out a lot more about that tonight, and it really deserves some support and really deserves some love. Take some of that Pepe money, and put it into something a little bit more like with a bit of substance. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like these are the sorts of projects that really are going to drive adoption into this space. These are the sort of projects that are going to drive people to being curious and excited by this space. The combinations of all these new technologies, AI and Web3, and I kind of lump AI into Web3. So all these different technologies like NFTs, blockchain, crypto, and AI, and the creative aspects, and of course, amazing things like Dolby Atmos. And it's such a shame that you can't hear how incredible that sounds in headphones. Take it from me, unfortunately. Can't wait for Andrew in the audience there to get Schiller up and running so we can have some proper sound in these kind of spaces. But, shout out to you, Andrew. But yeah, the sound, when you listen to this on headphones, that was what blew me away. When I listened to the Dolby Atmos in mix in headphones, whoa, it was such an incredible experience. We had an amazing experience at the Dolby Theatre here in London, where we premiered this drop, and we premiered this track about 6 weeks ago, I think it was, and we watched and listened to this in its Dolby beautifulness. So massive shout out to Dolby as well for being involved in this project. Really, really forward-thinking company. You think, wow, Dolby, a massive, great big company, and for them to be engaged in such a deep way in this project again, to embrace concepts of Web3, really, really, really great. So massive shout out to Dolby as well. Jonathan, great to have you, man. Thank you very much for coming up on stage. You have to press the mic button, and then you can talk if you're new to the Twitter Space concept. Is he there? You see, he can make these amazing tunes and music, and yet, he's not quite sure how to. There we go. There he is.
Well, I have been using. That's the thing. Sometimes I'm being incredibly polite about shit where I don't have to be. Hello, everybody.
Hello, mate.
Thanks for the warm welcome and much love to you guys. Really happy to be part of this and to have such great people on board that are supporting it. And it's interesting if people start talking about the sounds that you're using and stuff, when you're using them, you're not really thinking so much about them sometimes, or you're just like, well, this is nice, so let's try this out. And a lot of the things that were used in the track were experimenting with randomization, with physical modeling synths that basically synthesizers that are completely in a machine, like in the computer, but they emulate the sounds of natural things, like when you hit something metallic or hit a string or hit something like that. And there's a bunch of different very, very beautiful instruments out there that basically emulate the sound of stuff that is outside, and it sounds incredibly organic. As much as I sometimes hate the usage of this word, because well, that's organic. I don't know. Sometimes reminds me that I really like organic sounds. What do you mean, like music that's entirely made on meat, or what's organic sounds? I don't know, but yeah, you probably get what I mean.
I think it's something that connects. When you say an organic sound, I would say it's something that connects to the intrinsic naturalness of life. So an organic acoustic guitar is a nylon string with, which used to be catgut, and wood basically. So something that comes from the earth, as opposed to something.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably one of the reasons why some of the sounds that you're using on this evoke this feeling of sort of otherworldly kind of experience. Yeah.
But what I really find interesting regarding that is that there's a bunch of machines that are like entirely digital or even analog, but they're definitely just circuits. Um, have this can sound incredibly organic anyway, because it's not necessarily something that needs to be real or needs to be coming from the actual visible or touchable haptic world, but it can also come from something that is just, yeah. For example, like Ame, like those guys, Dixon plays a lot of music, for example, where there's these sounds that are definitely and entirely artificial, but they still have something very, yeah, organic. Well, it's just, yeah, it's interesting how. And then that, let's not drift into philosophy too much maybe, but yeah, I always find that word organic really interesting, because it can be so many different things, and in the end it's probably something that feels relatable and that doesn't sound like a piece of plastic in opposition, because a lot of the Skrillex sounds and a lot of the sounds that are used in EDM and are used in trance, and there's so many variation of that. Sometimes to me sound a bit like I call them yogurt or plastic or dentist. Like, I don't know, yeah, like obvious artificialness to it. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. We're going to talk a lot more about the music, and we're going to come obviously to Sarah and the incredible artwork as well, and the animation around this. But let's just listen. You got to go and get this, right? So it's live now on TokenTraxx. Go over to TokenTraxx. We're going to post up a link up the top there. It's going to take you straight there. I don't know, Jess, if you can do that. There are a number of different ways that you can do this. If you were smart enough to get hold of the pass, the Data VAEDA pass earlier on this month, then you were going to get some crazy discounts on this, which is really, really unbelievable in discount. Actually, I've got to say, Sarah, you've been super, super generous, I think, to the people out there, because this is massive. Sarah, I'm going to come to you in a minute, and you can tell us all about what the benefits include. But Jess, do you want to just go through what the different price points are, the different quantities, that kind of stuff? That'd be great.
Sure thing. So, yes, for those of you who are able to experience the first sneak preview of this at the Dolby Theatre in London, we launched the VAEDA Pass that evening, about 6 weeks ago. So that was the preview, that was the sneak peek, and anyone who holds that VAEDA Pass, we have allocated a certain number of mints just for you, and it's a very generous discount, but we want to include and reward people who are with the artists all the way from the debut. So and we just want people to enjoy this experience. So we do have the first level are the Sonic Star Shifters. So there are 60 for VAEDA Pass holders. So that's a smaller supply. So you must move quick if you want that discount. And there's 162 open for public. So if you missed out on a mint pass, it's okay. You can still grab a Sonic Star Shifter. The higher level is the Resonant Savants, and that's a very small supply. We've only done 5 for the pass holders and 5 at public sale, but this one has mind-blowing utility. And this is where I think Sarah can explain that it's just so jam-packed with utility. Some of it real life, some of it token-gated experiences on the metaverse, a private viewing of the Riverside studio where Jonathan created that mind-blowing track, and so much more. So Sarah, are you ready to dive into this magic box of benefits and utility?
Sure. Okay, so what have we got here? So both tiers come with the AR book. So there is a 9-chapter book that we wrote, the Chronicles of Data VAEDA. And if you get the Sonic Starshifters, you get an ebook. But if you get the Resonance Advance, you get a hardcover book, which will be sent to you. And in those books, all the images actually use augmented reality to activate that part of the animation. So the book actually comes alive. And the two protagonists, who we'll get to soon, Aris the fifth and Orb the second, have their photos also in the book, and they will be delivering weekly transmissions through the book to holders. And there'll be all sorts of things and messages and competitions and updates and everything that comes through those images in the book. There's also the full high definition animation with the music to download, so it's a better quality. And then there's a folder of the different song files. So you've got I think it's the binaural WAV, which is good for headphones. And then you've got the Dolby Atmos mix, which you can play if you have a Dolby Atmos system. And then just the normal WAV, I believe. And then we've also got an hour-long DJ mix of unreleased music by Jonathan. I love the music that he produces for the dance floor. So this is like totally exclusive, unreleased Jonathan cuts, which I love. Every time Jonathan comes and plays here, like he just rocks it. And I'll be like, what's that? What's that? And he's like, oh yeah, just another one of mine. We'll be there trying to Shazam the songs, and they're unShazamable. So yeah, he's so I've mixed my favorite songs of his. And then we're also going to be doing Metaverse parties for token holders. And that will be coming as soon as we reach a number of holders. So that will be, we'll be sending that in a transmission through the book. And then what else have we got? We will be doing our first live performance at ADE, which is the Amsterdam Dance Event. So that will include, I think we'll be actually dressed up as the characters. I think we'll, after this is actually launched, our names will sort of fall away from the project. So it will just be Aris the fifth and Orb the second. So I don't know how Jonathan feels about that, but we will be dressing up and wearing some sort of mask. So that's our first performance at ADE. All subsequent performances, the holders will get free entry to around the globe. And we do have other things in the pipeline, but I can't talk about them yet until they're fully confirmed. And then we'll be also offering, token gated areas for new music. And yeah, as we get into the project, you'll see that there's a whole load of things already on the horizon to expand this project and keep it ongoing. It's sort of like evolved to this point, I would say almost on its own. It feels like, yeah, Jonathan's favorite word, like organic, the way it grew. Like it wasn't like I thought of something and then I went and executed it. It was sort of like the ideas came to me in the flow of the creation of the project. So knowing how I got to this point, like I know that this is going to expand out into really wonderful and beautiful, crazy places. So, and that will all be obviously as a holder, you will get like a first experience of anything that comes up in the future. And any little like crazy ideas that we have, like the community will be the first to know. And also, I think it's my idea is to actually involve the community in the storyline, because it's very easy to develop a storyline in a community. So like having people like drop their ideas, different character names, we can create different like galaxies and character stories with the community. So I think that's a really exciting part for me as well, that we can make this, it's not just about me and Jonathan, like we're the starting point, but like maybe even in the future, like someone else from the community could put on the mask and go and do one of the live gigs. That's how I feel this sort of progressing, as a real community project. So let's see, maybe it will, maybe it won't, but like, I'm really excited about how it's going to grow organically in the future. So also with the residence events, you get the virtual tour of Riverside Studios, where Jonathan works. It's a very famous studio in Berlin, with a lot of amazing producers, and that's where Jonathan creates his magic. So he'll be doing a virtual tour there, and also the residence advance will also get a special augmented animation and message from the Data VAEDA protagonists. And breathe.
I mean,
Okay.
that is a lot of that's a lot of stuff. That's insane.
Yeah, it's just the beginning. I'm like, oh my God, like this is like expanded out so fast. I mean, well, it's been quite a few months now, as you know, but I can just, the way it's happened so naturally, like I'm really excited to see where it evolves to. And I
And
think
also,
that,
we've been basically
yeah,
always looking for something because we've been teaming up on so many different things. We've been making music together. With like, I literally like just to start the story for my end. I moved to Ibiza 12 years ago, 14 years ago, something like that, with a couple of friends because we were all fed up with Berlin. And then we had a house there, and everything did not work out for everybody else. So basically, after half a year or something, everybody moved back, and I was the only one like, "Well, this is stupid. Would rather stay." And then Sarah was like, "You know what? You can just crash on my couch," and I bloody did for like I don't know 3 months, something like that. In the end, like from somewhere around midsummer to the end of the season at least, and all the amount of input that gave me, I was deeply thankful for that. Being able to see so many people play, see so many different sides of that, and see like have like a peek behind the curtain of this. I'm just gonna quote unquote party island, but then it's also so much more, and just have somebody, you know what, this is stupid, just live with me. Like after I think we knew each other for a couple of weeks and we really got along well, but that's nothing that you expect of anybody, and that's something that is very unique about Sarah, that she's just yeah, like one of the most solid people. And now like many years later, like we've always stayed in contact, and I've kept visiting her, and we kept making these plans and stuff. And since the pandemic, like the contact got more and more again, and we like I always kept sending her music, and when I was visiting, I would always she would be like, you know what, we're gonna play in this nice little place, there's gonna be some friends, and then I would spin some music, and we always just kept this friendly exchange, and we also have a similar I'm gonna say effed up sense of humor, which also through good and bad is very practical apparently in a world that's a bit insane. But yeah, that just kept us close, and now like since we've both like I just kept making music, and we kept talking about concepts and just exchanging, and she's pulling me into this Twitter and metaverse space like with both hands. And I must really say that I still it's still a bunch of new. It's new for me, but then also from like the last year of just exchange, it just gets more and more familiar, and I get more and more what's it about, and let alone the fact that music should be compensated differently, and that we need to look for different concepts to um, not manufacture but distribute and promote music, because I don't know if anybody saw the Spotify documentary. It's a very great documentary to begin with, just from the entertainment level here. It's on Netflix, but also like the last episode is quite interesting because of the amount of money that ends up in major labels pockets, and also that ends up even in smaller labels pockets because they license the music, is still staggering. And in the end, I'm lucky to be able to live off my music because I've got a bunch of different projects. But if I had to live off my own music from the very beginning, I would have been forced to make so many decisions that are based on money or based on things that have nothing to do with what I want to express or what I want to say creatively, or where I want to go creatively, but rather like how am I gonna keep the lights on, or how am I gonna keep gas in the tank. And yeah, it's just really great to see that in this space people are experimenting and are looking for different ways to distribute, and also through the smart contracts to actually fairly reimburse everybody who's part of that. So yeah, I'm glad to be part of this, and I'm really we're gonna, whatever's gonna happen, we're gonna make music and we're gonna make art. And but it would be nice if it became a normality, and that like this roots movement that's happening here is very important. And I hope that it will translate into the bigger market also. But like, I mean, I'm a guy I'm an optimistic pessimist or a pessimistic optimist. But when it comes to this stuff, I'm pretty sure that some of the concepts will translate, because I don't think that this can carry on forever. Like the idea of free music, and the part that's not free that you're paying for ends up in the pockets of, mainly in the pockets of major players and of the same people who've been milking artists for more nearly a century soon. I hope this will shift. And yeah, okay, that's the ramble.
It's a great ramble, mate. Don't worry, we ramble a lot on these spaces, and it honestly, you're just preaching to the converted here, because it's absolutely spot on what you're saying, and why we're all in this space, because we see there's tremendous opportunities. Okay, so right. I've just the ridiculous thing about this is what's so good about this is not only is there so much utility in this project, and absolutely, it's worth every penny, but also it's on Polygon and it's super cheap with gas. I just literally minted two, and it said gas is a bit high at the moment, and guess what? Gas was 6 cents as opposed to 5 cents. So you've got no excuse. There's no gas excuse here. This is a brilliant opportunity to get in. If you've got the Vaeda pass, you've got this insane discount. You have no excuse but to go and support this fantastic project, and you should be supporting this fantastic project. Go to TokenTraxx. We pinned it up on the Jumbotron at the top there with a link. I want to draw your attention to the tweet up the top there that says TokenTraxx on your Sam. DATA VAEDA has landed. Retweet that tweet, please. Retweet that tweet. Follow TokenTraxx, follow Sarah, follow Jonathan for a chance to win one of these NFTs tonight. I've just bought two. I may give two away, but I'm definitely giving one of the ones I've just bought away. So retweet the tweet at the top on the Jumbotron that says, classic. My mum calls me just at the time. Retweet the ones from TokenTraxx that said DATA VAEDA has landed, DATA VAEDA, Chronicles of Vaeda. That tweet, retweet that tweet, follow TokenTraxx, follow Sarah, follow Jonathan. And at the end of this space, which is in about half an hour or so, we will announce at least one winner. maybe 2. You might be one of the ones. So, but, you know, go and buy it anyway because it's a fantastic project. As I said, the tweet is up the top there. There is packed full of so much utility. Sarah, let's come back to you on the utility front. I know that you've got a bunch of really, really cool things in there. I want to talk more about the book because we haven't really talked about the artwork that much. Please explain to me what the concept is around the artwork, but also I think we'd all love to hear some of your process and how you put this together because it is so insanely incredible, the artwork in this, and it's so beautiful when it comes alive. And the way that you've done the animation is just absolutely brilliant. It just marries with the music in a really, really sympathetic and complementary way. So tell us a little bit about the artwork, the concepts around the artwork, and also how you got there.
Yeah. So, okay, well, it started actually before before we decided on that track. It was when ChatGPT first came out. The first thing I literally did with ChatGPT was write about Data VAEDA. And I just kept writing and writing, and I got all this, all these different stories, and I sent it to Jonathan. I'm like, what do you think? I'm trying to create, I don't know, make Data VAEDA more real for him. I'm really serious about this. So I had that story, and then after I heard the music in the Dolby Theatre, the first time we heard it was back in December. And it was so amazing that I actually cried, and that's sort of when we decided that let's release this music as a NFT that's mixed in Dolby Atmos and blah blah blah. So a couple of months forward, I'm like, okay, it's time. But obviously, the music needs some sort of visual thing to it, because if we're going to premiere it at the Dolby Theatre, they've got this massive, beautiful screen. So I'd like to have something complementary. In no way did I think it was going to turn out like this, but I was intent on coming up with something good. So just by chance, I stumbled on a post about Linkin Park, who had created this full-length music video with AI. And so I did my research, and I used the same platform that they used, which had just been released. It's called Kyber. And so I started playing around with that. And I thought, it's brilliant. It's a sound reactive AI animating generator. So I'm like, great, this is great. But the thing about the way it generates the animations is it sort of loses its way after about 20 seconds. So the track was over 4.5 minutes. So I'm like, okay, so how am I going to do this? So I decided that I'd take the storyline and I'd make 9 chapters out of the story that I'd written back before December. And then I would use the story, the chapters to create the inputs to create an anchor image in Midjourney. So I created 9 anchor images. So they're the start images for each section of the animation in Midjourney, and kept going until I got the images right, and then I would throw them into Photoshop. I would color correct them. I did a little bit of meshing 2 images together when I wasn't quite happy with one of them. I also use Let's Enhance. It's an AI image enhancer just to get the details really sharp. I don't even think I needed to do that. Maybe that was overkill. And then I took those images once I was happy with them, and I put them into Kyber, and then again used the chapters to give the feel of what I wanted to see in that part of the animation. And then I used a blanket, the same style prompt for each part of the animation, just so it kept uniform. So yeah, I created 9 animations, and then and then I put them all together in Premiere, and then I underlaid the music on that, and made sure that was all sitting correctly and it was all timed correctly. And then rendered that out, and there you go. And then I had the animation. I have changed it somewhat. Well, I actually sort of redid the whole thing a couple of times. I think, as you do, like once I did the first showing at the Dolby Atmos Theatre, it was quite a rushed. I gave myself a few weeks basically. So after that, I made sure I went back into the project and really did a deep dive into every aspect of it, and changed things that I didn't like. I've rewritten the story a couple of times now as well, and changed some of the chapters, and yeah, and we're sort of finally there at this point where I'm happy with this. I would call it the starting point of the Data VAEDA journey. So yeah, and you can see the full animation if you haven't seen it on the Data VAEDA website, which is www.datavaeda.xyz, and you'll see the full animation on the homepage, and then you'll see everything else as well, like some extra music and who we are, and also you've got the full book that's up there as well.
And that's, I mean, that, but the thing is, what's brilliant about that is you use the technology, and then you come back and you try some things out, and then you sort of suck it and see if does it work, and then with a bit of perspective and a little bit of time, you come back and you change it, and you know, it's like, it's a constant artistic form. And this is why I think what's so clever, or rather, not clever, that's the wrong word. People shouldn't get worried about AI, because AI is just another tool, in exactly the same way that there are many, many tools at our disposal as creative people. You know, you know, a microphone is a tool, for Christ's sake, an electric guitar is a tool. You know, people don't realize that these are all tools for us to get the ideas in our head out into the open. AI is just the same thing. And I think there's a great example of how Sarah tried some things out. You know, AI throws something up, you take it, you like what you're doing, you finesse it, and then you go back, and then you think, no, maybe I'll change that. And I think this, do you know what I mean? So listen, by the way, before I come back to you, Sarah, you've got to retweet this tweet, guys, if you want a chance of winning this. We need to retweet this tweet. It's not just like it, you need to retweet it. The TokenTraxx Own Your Sound tweet at the top, third one in on the Jumbotron. Data VAEDA has landed. And then the amazing video next to that, which you can also watch, which is brilliant. But retweet that tweet, and remember to follow TokenTraxx, Sarah and Jonathan. Make sure you're following that. Otherwise, you're not going to get a chance to win at least one. I'm going to give at least one away. If we get lots of retweets, if we get 20 retweets from this tweet, I may give a second one away. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. We can do it tonight, guys. Come on, music NFT community, you can do it. Sarah, let's come back to this AI. What do what did you enjoy about the AI creating process that you sort of hadn't seen before, and obviously using, using the traditional kind of concepts around art and music and stuff?
I've been playing around with AI since like 2020, and yeah, I've always seen it like you see it as it's like a tool. It enhances like dramatically my creative process, and it puts me creatively on different paths, and I like that. It would be the same if I was collaborating with someone in the studio and they're like, well, what if I play this, or what if I try this drum machine? You know, but like obviously with AI, it's a whole nother world, and I love that it's very unexpected, like the outcomes. And yeah, I mean, I the first time I used AI, like I felt like an emotional attachment to the AI, because I was like, this is just a beautiful thing. I've put in all my art into this machine learning platform, and it spat out its interpretations, which were quite raw and sort of a little bit grotesque almost, but it was it just felt really nice. So here we are now at this point. It's come so far from those beginnings, and I'm just really excited about where I can take this, because I'm always on the lookout for new tools and new things that are coming out, and they're coming out every day. So it's like the video that I've just done here that I had a really good time doing, like making the characters of Data VAEDA. And again, doing that in Midjourney with a photo of my own face and with Jonathan's face as well. And then putting those into Photoshop and creating the exactly how I wanted to look, changing the background colors, changing the headpiece slightly, and so it would actually work with the I think it's called DID, a platform where you can make characters talk. So that was the next fun thing I did with AI. So I can only imagine where we're going to go with it from now. But yeah, it keeps me highly engaged and highly entertained as a creative. So like I still love painting, but now I add AR images of my paintings on top of my paintings. So it's just it's fascinating, and it's it's just a tool. So for me the creative future is very, very exciting, and I can't wait to see what's next.
And do you think, like, using, some of the, you said it's really sweet the way you said it. I kind of fell in love with the AI in a way, because it's like you do, don't you? You go, oh, that's, it's like being in the studio sometimes when someone comes up with a really cool idea and you go, oh, wow, that's great. And then by the end of it, you really feel like you've got an affinity with that person, because sometimes you're sharing some quite intimate and emotional experiences. Of course, this is not the same, but it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same, that the relationship, the way that it throws up stuff. I'm still questioning the sort of abstract thinking that AI can't really do. It doesn't really do. We had a whole chat about this on Monday Space about abstract thinking and how AI can't do abstract thinking, because purely by the way it learns, it doesn't go sideways. It always is looking at what's out there already and just dealing with what's out there already and bringing all those things together. So unless you, of course, you put the prompts together that want your abstract thinking to work, it's not going to do that for you, and that's what the brain does anyway. It just puts together abstract thinking, and that's why you go off at tangents and you come up with mad stuff, because you were influenced by all kinds of different things. Do you think there's what do you think you'd like to see that you didn't feel like you saw from that AI experience that you think would be amazing to be to implement into the future?
Oh.
That's a pretty deep question, isn't it? That's a deep question, I'm going to say. Jonathan, what do you think? Are you using much AI music? Are you using AI at all? AI, the music platforms for making AI music?
There is not so much, but I'm using tools. For example, there's beat shufflers, like things that create MIDI, things that rearrange beats in a very smart way, also in live, that you can live buffering and changing, and the voice generator stuff is interesting. But now there's like Sarah and I, like, there's a collaboration with this AI singer, and she sometimes still sounds a bit weird, but it's actually quite astonishing what's already possible on that level. So far, I'm still very classical with like craft. Like I try to craft as many sounds as possible from the ground up, including like the drum samples that I use. I mean, the kick drum is a kick drum, and which is also nice. But like a bunch of other things, you can actually do by hand or with variations. But I think that mixing wise, the AI is going to be really great, and also there's programs who master sound, for example, like the finalizing touch that you put on a track to make everything loud and everything like clear after the mixing is done. And also during the mixing process, like a lot of that can be done by AI in the future, I'm pretty sure, and they already have these things. Podcast editing is going to be incredibly easy. The AI is going to know when to eliminate the and the and when you're starting to stutter, or when the pause is too long or whatever, then it's going to be edited automatically. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff coming. Actually, I think at this point it's still in its it's still like in small shoes, but it's gonna grow, and we're definitely gonna hit a point where if when it comes to making generic music, the AI will be incredibly powerful and strong, because like for anything that is a library music or archive music or anything like that, then it will be fucking very powerful, because I'm sorry, because that's like when everything that's generic. For example, in German we have this music that's called Schlager. It's like basically ABBA is also like half Schlager, half other music, and the music is about love, and it's always in German, and it's about love, and it always has similar stories. So if you tell an AI to write a Schlager song, it just does a perfect job. I wrote a Schlager song with AI about the summer love and the olden days, and how you wished you could experience that once again, and something about a beach, and it came up with the most grotesquely on point Schlager. But that didn't rhyme because it doesn't rhyme in German. But I've been also using ChatGPT for writing English lyrics, and oftentimes it comes up, like every now and then comes up with a beautiful metaphor, or with a nice rhyme or whatever. So you just it's like you say, it's an interaction, and it's something that isn't doing things on its own. But if you see it as some sort of a ping pong opponent, or whatever, that you can bounce ideas off and with, and it can be quite great. But it still takes another 1 or 2 years, I guess, until it's really gonna do like a bunch of really cool stuff. And then definitely we're gonna have to see, like, the more we try to specialize into making things that are a bit out of the ordinary, the less the AI can take our jobs. And the more, and in the end, we're still dealing with something that's emulating feelings and not having feelings. And as much art is so much of an expression of emotion and feelings, I still think that we've got a upper hand towards a machine, because it will only always emulate. So I personally don't have a big fear of AI, and I see it as a chance. And I think there's so many other jobs that are endangered, and so many other things, and so many other topics where you could be like, ooh, spooky AI. I mean, even graphic wise, it could give you a bunch of chances. And at this point, like in the next year at least, if an AI takes your job from a creative point, then it's probably you who suck.
Well, at least you're honest. I mean, I think I think there is an element of truth in that. When hard disk, I've said this story a few times, so apologies if you heard it before. But when hard disk recording came in, Pro Tools systems came in, about 20 years ago, I told all my engineer friends, buy a Pro Tools system, because, you need to learn how to use this shit, and I bought one, literally, one of the first people in the UK to have a Pro Tools system, because I could see the power of where this was going. And it was all over the place, and it was clunky, and it used to crash all the time, and it sounded shit, and all that stuff, all get signed out. But the engineers that took my advice and did buy Pro Tools systems are still working today, and they're still, very much in demand. And those that didn't are off doing other things, selling cars or whatever. And it's just, you do need to get in.
We need to start learning to operate these things.
Yes,
rather
exactly.
than seeing them as an opponent.
Yes.
Because I don't know, it's like it is a revolution in many ways. And I could just, like, the tape machine. I think it's always going to be it's a bit more of a thing than with the Pro Tools, but it's still a good example. But we just need to learn how to work with those things, whatever you want to call it, and operate things, and rather than being afraid that they take our jobs, and just concentrate on that point, which is basically in the end is a negative way of thinking.
It is, and there's a. I'm going to be real quick on this, and we can come back to the project. But also, I want to remind everybody: retweet that tweet, the one at the top there, and three in from the jumbo. The TokenTraxx DATA VAEDA has DATA VAEDA. I mean, it depends. We have a discussion about how we say this. We'll come back to that in a minute. Retweet that retweet, and follow TokenTraxx, and follow Sarah Main, and follow Jonathan for To the Ceiling. Love that. Four to the ceiling. So follow those 3 accounts and retweet that tweet for a chance to win one. And if we get to 20 retweets on this, I'm going to give away another one. So we're going to give away 2. So retweet it, kids. Come on. Let's get some vibes going here. But there's a thing called the lump of labor fallacy. The lump of labor fallacy. The lump of labor fallacy is a fallacy that there is a certain amount of people in this world and a certain amount of jobs in this world. And if technology comes along and takes some of those jobs away, that means that these people are just going to be walking the streets doing nothing. Actually, if you look back through history, whenever technology has come along and changed things, what happens is people just pivot. They just pivot into new careers, or they retrain in old careers, or what happens is the new technology creates so many new jobs that everyone just sort of merges into that as well. This is exactly what's going to happen with AI. You learn it, get out there now, experience it. It's exactly the same thing with Web3. If you've never done anything in Web3 before, NFTs, or got some crypto or anything like that, just go and throw yourself into it. Do it. If you would go and buy a little bit of Bitcoin or whatever. If you haven't done an NFT and you're an artist, please come and talk to us over at TokenTraxx. We're more than happy to hold your hand. We have a great program called Get Minted, which is for people that have never released an NFT before. Jess, maybe you could tell everybody a little bit about Get Minted in a minute. But yeah, come along and talk to us about it. We're a friendly bunch, and we just want everybody to have a great time in this space and do really, really clever, inventive things like Sarah and Jonathan have done here with Data VAEDA. It's just brilliant. Sarah, is it Data VAEDA or Data VAEDA? We were talking about this today. You say Data VAEDA, don't you? I would say Data VAEDA.
Data VAEDA.
Data. See, I've got it wrong completely. There you go.
Just quickly, I know Jess wants to say something. I thought about where I actually want to see this going and what I would like, and that is for the live part of the project. I would like those AI animations to be done in real time. I've already thought about that. I'm sure it's coming soon, but each part of the animation that I did took like 10 to 15 minutes to create. So what I can imagine in the future is like a lighting or a visual person in a club. You're putting in prompts as the night goes, and you're creating this story on the fly. That would be really interesting for me. So I'm sure we're not that far away from that, if it's not already happening.
Let's come to Jess, because you got your hand up, Jess.
Hi, thanks. Yes, I also thought about your question, Tommy. So, and this is something that obviously Sarah has a lot of experience with. So Sarah started to work with existing models. So they would have trained those machine learning models on scraping all the data out there. So it took like a snapshot of all the media files, assets, so much input from everywhere, and they classified those data sets and they said, this is this is that. So we're working with a huge data set, and yeah, it needed several, I guess, rounds of going backwards and forwards with this ping pong, as Jonathan explained, which is very true. You go backwards and forwards and tweak the prompts. We're getting to that point where you buy an empty box, the black box is empty, and you start to create your data sets. You're starting from scratch, it's clean, and it's coming from you, and it has your voice. So imagine you're using deep learning and you're abstracting your subconscious. So next time, say Sarah makes a project like this and she's starting from scratch, she is creating the data set. She is telling it the snapshot of the world and how it looks. And it will make an AI model that's an abstraction of her subconscious and the way she views the world. And then she can create art with that. And it's almost streamlining that process. There'll be less ping pong backwards and forwards. So it'll be an almost AI clone of Sarah's style that she's trained in a way to be very specific to her vision. And it's just going to speed up the A to Z of what's in Sarah's mind to what's going to be in front of us enjoying and experience the gig or the Metaverse show or the another event at Dolby. So it's just
Is this where something like Bard, Google's version of ChatGPT, could really like champion over something like ChatGPT? Just because obviously Google has, pretty much everything, or everybody does uses Google mostly. So, are you talking about, obviously their entire search history, for example, could be used as part of the the center of the data pool that you're going to then create AI from?
Yeah, I'm saying you make your own data set. It takes time because if you're one person, that takes time. Like some models need years of training, but unless you're working with a creative team, you could maybe start to shape the data set and make a very specific view of the world. And it's almost like pulling your dreams out and putting them into this AI. So it's like the way you dream and I dream are quite different. So I would use prompts and feedback and back propagate. So you go back through these deep layers, these neural networks, and you say, more like this, less like this. There's weight on each of those neural nodes, and you're pulling them up and down until you get the balance right and saying, yes, more like this, less like this, that one a bit more like this. So it would take longer to build the data sets, but you could make your own AI clone of how you want it to create output, not what ChatGPT, because it scraped the entire, or saying Bard, it scraped the whole world's data, and it needs more time and backwards and forwards and ping pong to get to your Z. If you've trained it from the get-go, your A to Z is going to be, quite specific and more in tune with your creative vision. So I wonder when that will be available on the market. We get these empty black boxes and we start putting it in our own data to shape it and mimic us better as individual creatives.
That's got to be a Google thing. But I mean, when you describe it like that, it feels a little bit, Big Brother. But actually, I honestly can understand why, you could see the benefit of it, and as a consequence, I can imagine that will, take off, because people will go, yeah, actually, I do want to create something, but actually I want that data pool to have predominantly the things that and I'm all right. I'm cool with Google taking my entire search history and creating a data pool around that. I'm fine with that. I wouldn't be, me personally, I wouldn't be bothered about that. If it meant that I would get more specific into what I like. But again, then we're looking at this lack of abstraction, this lack of, of abstract thinking that is what makes creativity so fantastic as human beings. And it's sort of like we'd be gently funneling into just, an echo chamber of regurgitating things. My God, we're going deep here. We're going deep. We've already gone past the hour, but I'm cool with this because we've still got a couple more things I still want you all out there. Come on, I want you to retweet this tweet. It isn't difficult. It's just a simple retweet and then a simple follow of TokenTraxx, Sarah and Jonathan, and just all you do is retweet that tweet for a chance to win one. If we get it up to 20 retweets, I'm going to give 2 away. I want to give a massive shout out to all the people that have come tonight. Thank you very much for coming in. There's some great people in here. Also want to give a massive shout out to Tim, who's down there in the audience, who's our illustrious CEO at TokenTraxx and does a brilliant job as CEO. And we're all really, really indebted to him and, for making all of these incredible things happen for us. Thank you, Tim. I also want to give a big shout out to Alice. You must go and check out Alice. She's amazing. She's beautiful, what she does. She's got a brilliant voice. But also go and check out what Alice is doing on her. About 10 minutes ago, she posted, I think, this thing where she did a simple piece for my baby sis. It's like an Instagram post that she's got a video of. Stunning piece of artwork, Alice. What a beautiful piece of artwork that is. And there's a lovely picture of you holding the finished piece up. But how did you do that, if you don't mind? I know we're going off target a bit, but I think it's fantastic. We've got to give a shout out to the creatives, right? Alice, how did you do that?
Oh, thanks, Tommy. And just to say as well, Sarah, what you're doing is absolutely incredible. And I do have a lot of questions as well, but I'm just here listening in awe of your mind and what you guys have done together. You and Jonathan, both you and Jonathan. So
thanks so much.
No problem. Lovely to meet you both. In the Twitter reel. Yeah,
Is there any other reel anymore? I'm pretty sure there isn't. I think this is the reel now.
This is it.
This is it now, isn't it? I mean, Jed said they have over 9 hours screen time now. Gen Z's just saying, over 9 hours.
Oh my God, honestly, like the EMF frequencies coming off this phone, it does worry me, but we just put that to the back of our minds. I think we balance it out with all the good energy we connect with each other. Anyway, so yeah, I create, as well as making music, I also create black and gold artwork. I just do it with a gold pen. It's I can't remember the make of it. It's like a gel pen, but I started doing these doodles like a few years ago when I was working in a call center, and they just sort of came out of nowhere. These very kind of geometrical shapes, and people would say, "Oh, that really reminds me of my mushroom trip. Oh, that looks like what I saw when I had LSD." And I'd never done psychedelic, so I was like, "Okay, that's interesting." And yeah, I just kind of would feel myself getting a bit of a trance when I was making these drawings. They were just in kind of pencil pen before. And then I just had this flash in the shower one morning to start creating these, transferring what I was doing basically with gold pen on black paper. And yeah, I mean, it's best if you just kind of watch the video Tommy was saying. It was a very recent post, and yeah, that's the vibe. So it's literally just gold pen. I just kind of sit there. It's quite a meditative practice for me. So yeah, my Instagram is there with my art Instagram if you want to check out the rest of it. Thanks, Tommy.
No, it's so sick. It's so sick. And you said you had some questions for Sarah on the drop.
Yeah, it's more from like a creative aspect. I mean, I'm always curious about, someone's mind and where these ideas come from and what happens in that process. And anything that's kind of space or like galactic or that sort of related, I'm in. It's got like a very quantum feel to it. And I guess, I mean, I hope this question makes sense, but while you were making it, did you have any strange occurrences or kind of intuitions or synchronicities that were happening? Because sometimes I feel like when you're that focused on a project, at least I've found, it's almost like life starts just giving you things from random places that really link in with the project. So yeah, I just wondered if you had any kind of, stories from that aspect of the creating of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's like, when you start something and it's like you're coming up against roadblocks all the time, and you keep pushing through, and sometimes you get there, but like with something like this, or with this particular project, that type of thing was happening. I was like, I want to do this. I'll have an idea. It'll just come to me in the shower or something like that, as they do, just pop in. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. And then like, but how am I going to execute that? And I'd literally sit down at the computer, and then something would like pop up that would give me the way to do it, or like this platform, or I'd see some sort of post. I'm like, I could do it like that, or I could, so like continually with this project. That's why I say it happened really organically, because I wasn't really the driver of the end result. It sort of happened on its own. And that's for me like the ultimate creative gift from the universe, when something drives itself like this. So every sort of step of the way is almost like a little surprise, and I love surprises. So I mean, this has just been a brilliant experience, but it also something where I'm fully invested in it now, because there really wasn't one of those moments where I got really stuck with it, which as a creative, that there's so many times with things where you do get stuck, and you do push through and you make it to the end, but like this has just sort of flowed the whole time. So I'm like, I'm really invested in taking it further, because it just feels like it's going to evolve on its own, and that it wants to evolve, like it's got like a life of its own. So yeah, that's how it happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of spirit that runs through it that feels, like there's a lot of other kind of, let's say, helpers involved as well with the concept. It's really cool. It's really interesting, and I'm just really big congratulations on this.
Thanks so much, Alice. Yeah, I mean, look, even the whole like space sort of galactic thing, I'm not like an avid Star Wars fan, or, it's not something that, it's always been an interesting concept, but it's not something that I've always been fully invested in. But this has just gone down that path and turned out to be what it is now. So, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So, yeah.
Here's an idea. ChatGPT in the shower. I tell you, it's going to be huge. There's so much going on in the shower at the moment for the creative people. So ChatGPT in the shower, just when you just combining those two things is going to be fantastic. We're going to wind this space down shortly, but before we do, I haven't, please just go and retweet it. Like I said, if you want to win it, but also go and buy the fucking thing. Because I'm telling you now, it's absolutely stonking and it's so beautiful. I've seen the book. I've seen everything. It is a beautiful, beautiful piece of art. And I just know, Sarah, there's going to be so much incredible utility in this. Also, you've got a couple of oh fuck, I forgot what name was it. The first one you did. There's a couple left of that as well, and that's got something.
Keep trying, yeah.
Keep trying, yeah, keep trying. There's a couple of sorry, I'm in context mode with my head there states. That was the Wild Awake drop. Yeah, there's a couple of those as well. So go over to TokenTraxx and check out what Sarah's also got with her, because there's an amazing utility in that as a free entry to any club in Ibiza as part of that as well. So go and check out that drop as well. And also, while you're there, go and check out some of the other amazing drops. We do this, as I said, we do this great program that the guys here support. And, you basically, anytime that if you haven't put anything out in this space, if you haven't done an NFT, if you're not quite sure, come and talk to us. Get minted is what we call it, and we'll handhold you and make it, nice and super simple. We believe in putting things out, in either one of two things. You've got to look at it like this. You either trying to raise some money, which is fine because everyone's got to pay bills, and also most of the time, creative people reinvest their money that they make from NFTs anyway. They put that into buying better gear or making a video or going on tour or getting a PR person to help them with their social media. That's what they do. It's not just about putting food on the table and clothes on your back. It's about actually giving you some money to do more with your creativity. So if you're looking at that, or if you're trying to build out a really interesting community as well of collectors, and we will help you and sort of give you some guidelines around that, the artists as well that are on this space. We do this Twitter Spaces all the time through TokenTraxx. I do a Twitter Space on Mondays, UK time, 6 p.m., and we talk about music and NFTs, so come along and join us on that. I'm going to announce this in shortly, but I also want to talk a little bit about the TokenTraxx Studio as well. The TokenTraxx Studio is a totally we believe in decentralization over here at TokenTraxx. We believe that the future of Web3 is decentralization. What does that actually mean? It means giving the power back and taking the power away from these big centralized platforms like Meta and Google and Amazon and getting it back into the hands of the individuals. And we believe that everybody should have their own home where they can do a lot of the kind of interesting stuff that Alice and Sarah and Jonathan are talking about with Web3 technology, but do it in their own environment and sell through their own environment. So we believe in decentralized marketplaces, totally customizable. You can make them look feel the way you want them. All the bells and whistles of what we do at TokenTraxx and what we have in our marketplace, we will give to you, and you can use it in whatever way you shape or form. And the most interesting thing is when people, as we have with this wonderful drop that's been put together by Jamie Santa Fractures and Martin from Water and Music, have come together to create an incredible label called Wild Awake. And that's them bringing artists on and then teaching them how to do stuff and teaching them how to be in this space and then helping them on their journey, their Web3 journey. That's the sort of thing that we really want to encourage over here. If you're interested in understanding more about what TokenTraxx is doing, then please come and see us. DM me or DM TokenTraxx, or I think it's talent@TokenTraxx is the email. Just come and see us. Come and have a chat. We are not nasty people. I've just been. I think, Jess, did you see what I just see? What Tim just sent? I think is that what you got your hand up for?
No. I was going to suggest I'll explain about Get Minted while you decide who is the lucky winner of tonight's, I guess, a sonic sound shifter.
Ooh.
Okay. So
Yeah, but hang on. Tim just sent me something, but I can't work out where he sent it.
oh, you got a notification and now it's gone.
I think I got a message from him. He's giving. You know what he's like? He's so generous. He's giving shit away. Right. He says, everyone who is on the space right now, who buys one of the DATA VAEDA, sorry, Sarah, I'll get there in the end. Anyone that buys any of the DATA VAEDA's NFTs and retweets it gets, check this out, 300 TokenTraxx tokens, our own currency, 300 TokenTraxx tokens. You can take those TokenTraxx tokens, you can go and buy some more NFTs on our site, you can trade them, you can do whatever you want. That's 300 TokenTraxx tokens. I'm not entirely sure what the value of that is, but I think it's pretty good value. I'm pretty sure of that. Anyone who buys an NFT, the DATA VAEDA NFT, and retweets that tweet, like I said, you not only get an opportunity to win one of these things, we'll also give you some money. For fuck's sake, Jesus, what do you want, the fucking shirt off me back? My God! Are we insane? What were you going to say, Jess?
Oh, no, I was just going to explain Get Minted because we mentioned it a bit earlier. So while,
Get Minted.
While people are retweeting and we are taking note of who's in the space right now and who's retweeting and who's going to buy from either of the tiers of the Chronicles of Vaeda collection, we'll keep track, and yeah, we will reward you with your TokenTraxx tokens, and you can stake them or buy more beautiful NFTs. Okay, I'll get to Get Minted. So, as Tommy mentioned earlier, if for artists that are new to Web3 and they just want to dip their toe in the Web3 pool instead of diving in head first, as Sarah has, and what a beautiful outcome it has been. But we do offer Get Minted. So this is for new artists to reach out to us, and we basically help you through the process. So it's a really simple onboarding process, and we will help you mint your first NFT. We'll keep everything simple, but keep everything fun, and it's just another way to share your music. And we explain utility, and we come up with some ideas that will allow them to see what the different possibilities are with Web3 as opposed to Web 2 releases. So they see the fun side of it. They see the community side of it. They see, oh, I'm multidisciplinary, actually. I don't only create music. I also do this, I do that. So it's a way of merging all their disciplines together. So we create Get Minted drops, and we have a TokenTraxx fund. So every year we delegate a certain amount of pounds to help artists, so £1,000 per artist, and we'll grant 10 artists this during the year to help them fund their next musical project. So if you release a Get Minted track with us, you're then in the running for a TokenTraxx fund, which is not only £1,000 but also mentorship with one of our advisors at TokenTraxx. So we really we're grateful for you to have started your journey with us, and we hope to grow your presence in Web3. So this is part of our Get Minted journey. And we have TokenTraxx Radio every few weeks. So we bring all the Get Minted artists together, and we have a fun listening party. So we're just having a great time connecting creatives.
And a massive shout out to Kurt, the crypto therapist, who's also coming on as part of our team, and he's going to be helping advise artists as well in this space. That man knows more about drops and NFTs than anyone I know, having been a part of the teams behind Violetta and Josh Savage and so many different amazing projects in this space. So massive shout out to you, Kurt. Really, really excited about having you on board. But now, hang on a minute. Here we go. Yes, that's the sound of the fanfare. Which means only one thing. we are going to pick a winner. Here we go. Okay, are you ready? That was great, that, wasn't it? Fucking hell, what a great track that is. That's Fanfare by the apps. That's by the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Fantastic.
I was just about to say, whatever happened to Fay Ray?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we got the winner. I might have to just do. Oh, do you know what? I'm gonna play that again. It was so fucking great. Here we go. Let's play that again. Let's do. Hang on. I've just got to start that. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. Here we go. So good, so good. Okay, we have a winner. Twitter picker winner is... Okay, we have... Unfortunately, we didn't get it to the 20, so it's only going to be one person. But let's just make it 25. There we go. Okay, Twitter picker has given me... let me think. I'm going to look through this site. I'm going to just... okay, you've got to still be in the room as well. That's the really important thing. You've still got to be in the room. Hang on a minute. Let's see who's in the room here. Whatever happened to Fay Ray? Okay, the winner is... Because they're still in the room, and that's brilliant. Okay, the winner is rulerb.eth. Yes, rulerE.eth. Well done. You are the winner of tonight's NFT. Well done. And tell us about what you're excited about this drop. And hang on, oh God, can someone invite him up? Because I just got the thing. Here we go. That's it. There we go. Invited you up there. Yeah, well done, Ruler B. It's going to be, you need to DM, if you actually DM TokenTraxx, that'd be great. I'll giving you your ETH address, and we will send you one of these amazing NFTs. What do you reckon, Jess? Oh, Jess is dead.
Sorry, I'm still here. I was actually I had the chat open with Ruler B saying congrats, please, and we're actually already but there's Ruler B's already been in contact with us, so that's great. It's really nice to reward people that that show up often and they want to see the whole journey. So congrats. Please send us your wallet, and we'll be sending you a Sonic Star Shifter, and it has such amazing utility. Just want to explain before we really wrap up and say thank you to the amazing artists that Jonathan and Sarah are. With the utility, we have built out our custom token-gated area, our perk section on TokenTraxx. So we're making an easy place for you to find this amazing mystery box of art and music and other access in one place. And then we can also we can show the entire roadmap as Sarah laid out. There's things happening with ADE later in the year, so you can see the timeline and keep track of when things are coming up. So that'll be Sarah's utility area, and with the studio tour with Jonathan that will come later in the year, you'll be able to see that in the perks section. So Sarah, Jonathan, any last things to say? Thank you so much for, we feel so honored to have released this collection with you.
Well, thank you so much. Anyway, Sarah.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah,
me too. Like, thanks so much, guys. Thanks for everything. It's been an amazing journey working with you. Just hearing about what you were talking about then, Jess. Like, if anyone wanted to drop anywhere, I would suggest TokenTraxx, and to be able to be mentored by you guys is like, that's just gold. I swear to God, it's been. I've learned so much, and it's been an amazing experience. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you for everyone as well that came along tonight and spent their evening listening to us and talk about the project. So it's we really appreciate you, and have a lovely evening.
Oh, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure, and it's such an honor to have you both on the space, but it's also an honor to have this
Much
incredible
love.
project. Yeah, it really is. It's such an honor to have this amazing project. We are all about trying to find really cool, creative ways of using both the the AI technology and the Web3 wider technology of crypto, NFTs, blockchain in general. Just come and into this space. The water's really warm. It's a really nice place to be. For those that did buy tonight, and please send a message, a DM to Jess at TokenTraxx. Just send it on the TokenTraxx site, and we will send you 300 Trax tokens. That is a gift by our illustrious CEO, Tim. So thank you for that, Tim. 300 Trax tokens, and then come and take those Trax tokens and come and buy some other artists, these new get minted projects that are all we do. They're all on Trax tokens. So, you can support other artists with them as well. So it's free money that you can then help other artists out. How cool is that? Hey, really lovely. So massive thank you to both Jonathan and Sarah for tonight. Massive thank you to Jess and everybody else that came and joined the space. Keep an ear out for everything else that we're doing. Obviously, follow us at TokenTraxx. You'll find loads and loads of information on there. If you really are interested in Web3 and you're just new to this space, there's a resource that I have on my Koji link, which is in my profile, and you'll see there's an NFT resource there. There's loads of information about what's going on, what TokenTraxx does, but also just some basic shit like what is Bitcoin, what's crypto, what is this, what is that, but also some really amazing articles that I've gathered up over the last sort of 2 or 3 years I've been in this space. I'm just going to pass it back over to Jess and say have a great night, guys, and take it easy and go and support the artists.
Thanks again, everyone. And if anyone has any questions, our DMs are open. Please DM TokenTraxx. Ask us about anything about Get Minted if you're new to Web3. If you have any more questions about the Chronicles of Vaeda, we're happy to answer. And Sarah has built that amazing bonfire page, which is the genesis and explains the creative journey, the technical journey. So it's a really great home for all the information. And we'll get the we're hoping to see more holders soon, so we'll be able to access the perks area. And I can't wait to listen. After this space, I'm going to listen to the Dolby Atmos mix. I'm really excited. So thanks Sarah, thanks Jonathan, and good night, everyone. I'm going to wrap up the space.
Thanks, good night.
Good night.